we decided that we must prosecute her based on the evidence available. You don't go to court without evidence, only for you to be defeated in court.
The Deputy Attorney General there on PMX was explaining why the trial judge had no other choice than to impose the 4 years, 6 months instead of what, of course, some people had called for, which is a maximum of 25 years imprisonment for Aisha Wan. In fact, yesterday at the Joy News National Dialogue on Illegal Mining, there was criticism. Listen to Ken Ashigbe, who raised a point exactly about his expectation that more should have happened in this case.
One of the points that have to be made is about this lady judge that's handling this case. Right from the onset, considering Aisha Wan as a flight risk, the positions she took, and the fact that she was very nationalistic in the doing of her job. You just have to position her against the judge, I think it was One Quest in Takwa, who prosecuted, on whose court they prosecuted some 4 Chinese people. And he, in sentencing these foreigners, sentenced them to the minimum sentence for Ghanaians. You know, just a fine of 2,400 Ghana cedis. And seeing that finally we have got some conviction. My only pain is that apparently, when we rearrested Aisha Wan, we still were prosecuting her under the old law. And my question I ask is that when she was rearrested, coming back again, was there, I think that was one of the charges. And then did she not get involved in any mining activity for which then the charges should have been under the current punishment regime? So yes, it's great that we've seen some prosecution of somebody who is not just one of those people we find in the forest reserves, and we've been able to get to the point where we're getting to. And I agree with Nana when he talks about getting to the basis and finding out why this thing is happening. But and again, when Doc talks about the fact that we're going to go into an election next year, and if you look at what has happened, the sinusoidal dances we've been doing, and we are confronted with such grave challenges as a country, but I don't think we are passionate enough. And the Forestry Commission, unfortunately, I don't believe you're doing enough, to really be able to resolve the issues.
Well, we also heard from former Environment Minister, Professor Frimpong Boateng, on this subject, and he also wanted more.
I believe that the law was changed, and the minimum sentence was supposed to be 15 years. So that's what I know. Thank you.
So it should have been 15 years instead of what we had?
Minimum.
Okay, the Attorney General has been responding to that.
Yes, the Office of the Attorney General has not been very, very happy. The issue of Galamsey has become very topical, and so people were expecting that Aisha Wan would have gotten stiffer punishment than what she got. And so the statement here reads that the Attorney General has been drawn, the Office of the Attorney, or the attention of the Office of the Attorney General has been drawn to various misleading comments by some sections of the public in reacting to the judgment. The AG hereby respectfully entreat members of the public, including lawyers, to be mindful of the facts stated above and desist from comments which not only jeopardizes the sound and efficient administration of justice, but also undermine the fight against illegal mining. In fact, the next paragraph states that the Attorney General expresses appreciation for the relatively swift manner, a little over 1 year, in which the justice has been dispensed in this case. It underscores the commitment to the punishment of illegal mining offenses. And here is a big one. Whilst applauding the efficiency of the justice delivery system witnessed in the Aisha Wan case, the Attorney General will, however, test the soundness of the decision of the trial court to punish the accused person under Act 900 by filing an appeal at the Court of Appeal against the sentence in a bid to ensure that the new sentencing regime required by Act 995 is applied to the accused person. It's signed by the Attorney General Godfred Yabodami.
And this statement, the earlier part of it, just reiterates the point we had from Tian Yeboah, who's the Deputy Attorney General, explaining why the judge had no choice than to use the 2015 Act.
Exactly,
which
because
only imposed a maximum sentence of up to 5 years.
Because he indicates that the crime was committed during that period when the new amendment to the Minerals and Mining Act had not taken place, and so they had no option than to use that one in prosecuting Aisha Wang.
Okay, thankfully we can speak to the Attorney General, Godfrey Yabodami, who joins us right now. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you very much, Evans.
Great to have you.
Good evening to your cherished listeners.
What changed? Yesterday, we heard your deputy explain why the judge had no choice. Today, you want to appeal. What has changed?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
No, hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello, Evans.
Yes, I can hear loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great.
Yes, better now.
Yesterday, we heard your deputy explain why the judge had no choice than to use the 2015 Act. Today, you want to challenge that. You want to appeal. What changed? What has changed?
Well, I think it is important to note that the judge indeed had legitimate basis for sentencing in the manner in which she did. And indeed, if you take a careful look at our statement, we have sought to harshly criticize her or to raise any serious qualms about the decision. The point we make is that, yes, there's a new sentencing regime, punishment regime, and our respectful view upon a careful consideration of the issues is that the judge ought to have applied the current law, because indeed she's been punished today. Yes, the judge had legitimate basis, I say so, because of the constitutional provision in Article 19, Clause 6. But that provision itself and the manner in which it ought to be construed and applied, for me, lends itself to multiple interpretations. And if you look at the jurisprudence of our court, there's a basis for us to question it. And I think there must be pronouncement by a higher court. So consistent with our quest to ensure that there's finality to this issue and there's clarity as to the kind of punishment that ought to be imposed in a matter as serious as this, I think it's worth the while to appeal. So I made the point that, yes, the decision to appeal will just be to test the soundness of the judge's imposition of the sentence. We are happy with the conviction. We are happy with the efficiency with which justice was dispensed in the manner. And the records will show that this is actually the first time an acknowledged kingpin of galamsey activities in the country has been successfully prosecuted and has been punished. And I think it is deterrent enough. It will send the right note of caution to all foreign nationals and indeed even nationals of our country who are engaged in such an act. But our view is that the new punishment regime that has been put in place by the Parliament of Ghana since 2019 ought to be upheld, respected, and applied in this case.
But how so, considering what your deputy explains, that it boils down to when the crime was committed, and that you didn't find any evidence?
Hello, the line is a little unclear.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I mean, I'm just asking, how so, considering the explanation we got from your deputy, that it boils down to when the crime was committed, and that you did not have any evidence to suggest that post-2019, when this act came into force, there was any evidence that Aisha Wan had indeed engaged in illegal mining?
Yes, but of course, we did not charge Aisha Wan for offences committed after 2019. I think that is undisputed. So my deputy, with all respect, has not contradicted the office in any way at all. My deputy has not said anything different from what I'm saying today. My deputy actually stated the reasons why the judge sentenced in the manner in which she did. And I said, well, she cannot be harshly criticized, and that is because indeed the offences were committed in 2015, she was not prosecuted. Some were committed in 2016, she was not prosecuted. And then it ran up to early 2017 when she was arrested. And of course, there was prosecution in 2017, but which was terminated in 2018. And then, following her re-entry into Ghana, we decided to arrest her and prosecute her for those previous offences. So it is not in doubt that the prosecution was in respect of offences committed in 2015, 2016. So really, in such circumstances, we think that a judge may have legitimate basis for sentencing based on the sentencing regime prevailing at that time. But another judge could also take a different view, which is that the sentencing regime applicable as the date of conviction is what ought to be applied. Because my view is that to the extent that at 995 had actually repealed all those provisions, it may become a little incongruous for and indeed one material point is that the accused person was actually tried under at 995, and that is why I find it a little incongruous or inconsistent to hold that when it comes to sentencing at that point you are going to apply a different law. I think that is in respect of the law that she was tried under. The offences were charged under at 995 because the old offences had been repealed by at 995, substituted by at 995. So really, the penal regime should also go with a substitution, in my view. And that is why I think that there's also a legitimate basis for us to test the soundness of the law. So it's actually consistent with our quest to ensure that we go through the full process. We exhaust the avenue possible to ensure that she's punished as severely as possible. Yes, she's been convicted, no doubt. She's guilty of galamsey offences, and we are very happy with it. She's been thrown into jail, and I'm sure within the time that will be appealing, she will still be in jail. Indeed, she has been in jail right from day one, even before conviction. She was in jail. She has never been released, even for one day. Bail was denied all through, and we're thankful to the trial judge. But I think that the severity of the acts that she committed really should warrant the imposition of a higher.
Mr. Governor, did you say that she was
the correctness of the decision by the trial judge?
Just for clarity, Mr. Dami, you say that she was tried under Act 995 as amended.
Hello, pardon me.
Did you say she was tried under Act 995 as amended?
Yes, please. Yes, that's it. Because at that time,
because that's the act that says minimum of 20, maximum of 25.
Pardon me.
That's the act that says minimum of 20, maximum of 25.
20 years. Yes, minimum 20 years for a non-Ghanaian.
But if she was tried under that act, then it begs the question. I mean, why didn't she get that then? Why was she then sentenced under the?
But that 20? Is why I'm appealing. Precisely. That's why I take the respectful view that indeed there's a literate basis also for my appeal. Because and indeed it is important to note, and sometimes the media with all respect. That's why I said that I found a little bit incongruous that at the point of sentencing, then the judge would resort to the law prevailing in 2015 or 2016 at the time that the offences were committed. But indeed, I have also made a point that I can understand the trial judge in a way, because the trial judge clearly was also mindful of the constitutional provision in Article 19, Clause 6, which is to declare that if you sentencing a person and at the time that the offences were committed, there was in place a law which gave a much or a more lenient sentence, then you apply that law. Article 19 Clause 6 clearly, and I think it's very important for me to quote at this point. It says no penalty shall be imposed for a criminal offence that is severer in degree or description than the maximum penalty that could have been imposed for that offence at the time when it was committed. So this provision raises the presumption that indeed it is proper for a judge to apply a penalty which is not severer than the one in place at the time that you are sentencing the person. If indeed the act was committed at the time that the law applying to the offence was less severe. It says no person shall be imposed, or no penalty shall be imposed for a criminal offence that is severer in degree or description than the maximum penalty that could have been imposed for that offence at the time when it was committed. So as I said, there are two schools of thought in all of this. The judge, yes, was entitled to take this school of thought, which of course mandated the imposition of the penalty prevailing at the time that the galamsey offence was committed in 2015 or 2016. But I'm also of the view that even the same judge had also upheld the constitutionality of the lawfulness of our charges, then logically he should have proceeded to also punish under the same Act 995.
But also further clarity, Mr. Dami. if she was, I can hear you. If she was tried under 995, which of course came into force in 2019, is there evidence that she committed crimes post 2019 when the law came into effect?
No, because the accused person was deported from the jurisdiction in December 2018. And then she re-entered the country. The specific time that she re-entered the country, I mean, is a little questionable. But she was arrested on 6 September 2022. And she was not arrested on a mining site. She was not arrested in the act of committing any illegal mining. She was just identified in Kumasi, spotted in Kumasi, and then she was arrested. So in terms of specific evidence of acts that she committed in 2022, really there was none at all. But of course, I mean, I made a promise to the nation that yes, she will be tried for previous offences, all offences committed, as well as the current offences that she has been committed. Investigations reveal that, properly looking at the situation, the only offence that could be preferred against a person in respect of act committed in 2022 was the act of re-entering the country without permission, contrary to the Immigration Act.
That's precisely the point, right?
The galamsey offences, it is actually the past offences that she had committed.
Yeah, but that's precisely the point, Mr. Dami, that if you don't have any evidence to show that she committed crimes related to galamsey, for example, post 2019, laws don't take retrospective effect. So how do you expect on this appeal to apply the 2019 law when there's no evidence that she committed a crime there?
Yeah, but that's the point that we have always been talking about right from the beginning. I mean, that's what I'm saying, that indeed that is the basis on which the trial judge imposed the punishment applicable.
I only ask that because you're going on appeal.
And I'm saying that
on the strength of
and
the
I'm
2019
saying that indeed the charges preferred against the accused person were under Act 995. And the legitimacy, the lawfulness, and the constitutionality of those charges were upheld at the submission of no case stage. So we succeeded in showing to the court that indeed, notwithstanding the repeal or the substitution of the previous law by Act 995, a case could still be made for her prosecution, and that was done. And I'm saying that if we look at the constitutional provisions, not only Article 19 Clause 6 in isolation, if we look at the provisions as a whole, you punish in respect of an offence, the penalty for which has been created by the law. And the law that the person was charged with was at 995, and the penalty has been specified in that law. So I think that it is worth the while for us to pursue this to its logical conclusion and to ensure that if it is allowable, the maximum penalty ought to be inflicted on the accused person. If the Court of Appeal takes a contrary view, we may ultimately go up to Supreme Court, which of course is the highest court to pronounce on constitutionality or to pronounce on whether enactments are constitutional or not, to give an interpretation on this issue. And the Supreme Court rules will be bound by it. But I think that is where the while. The most important point is that yes, the accused person was arrested and she was in custody throughout the trial, and after the trial, conviction was secured and she was punished, and she will be in jail for the next 4.5 years. And I'm sure we'll exhaust all these processes before the end of the next 4.5 years. And so we'll get to know whether the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal will impose a higher sentence or not. If the Supreme Court or Court of Appeal takes a view that the trial court was right, then we'll be bound by it, and the 4.5 years will apply it.
Mr. Dami, while I have you on, yesterday the Forestry Commission Executive Director, on a separate matter that has become issue of public knowledge because your colleague, Lands and Natural Resources Minister, spoke about it, and it relates to Akonta mining, that they were engaged in illegal mining in the forest. The Forestry Commission also confirmed same. The Minerals Commission confirmed same. The Forestry Commission yesterday at our national dialogue on illegal mining says the docket was submitted to your office for advice, and since then nothing has happened. Can you tell us what has happened to this case?
I'm not aware. I'm not in the position to speak to this issue because personally I don't have such information. I'm not aware. I'm definitely in the position to comment on it. But of course, if there's basis, I've said time and again that if there's basis for us to prosecute, sort of a docket that has been built on the back of solid evidence, no doubt we'll prosecute. Recently, I an RTR request was sent to my office by Sabri Fee or so. We responded to it, and we indicated that yes, if he has any evidence, clearly he should make a complaint to the CID. I don't know if he has made such a complaint to the CID. So clearly my office is in the position to, and is always willing to prosecute any matter that has been thoroughly investigated. We do not just go to court in the expectation that innocent persons will be harassed and ultimately they'll be released or freed at the end of the day. We did not do that at all.
Thank you very much. That's the Attorney General, Godfrey Adami, there. And thankfully, I have two of the activists on the line and who have been pursuing this matter quite vigorously, both the Akonta mining matter, but also this Aisha One case. And that's Ken Ashigbe. Of course, he is the convener of the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, and Martin. But Martin, we've just heard the Attorney General say that the Aisha One was prosecuted on the act that was passed in 2019, Act 995. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, so it's good that the Attorney General is going on appeal. It will strengthen our jurisprudence. Yes, so that's good. It's good, you see, because forget that justice emanates from the people. So when there is a groundswell of disappointment with the sentence, and citizens are asking that why can't we use the new law? It's good to test the law because, Evans, today you are largely talking to me because I've tested a few laws in the Supreme Court and they worked. These were laws that some people told me that, I would not win. And lo and behold, I won. So there is no harm in trying. So it's good the Attorney General is saying that he's going to go on appeal. That is good. Let's test the law. Because, and let's not also even forget, look, Evans, when you go to England, and even we have all benefited, the Court of Criminal Appeal, it is actually as a result of complaints made by journalists. That's how a Court of Criminal Appeal was created in England. It was the work of journalists complaining about injustice. And so for us in Ghana, we just copied from the British. But what we need to realize is that it's citizens who complain. Citizens make noise. And out of the noise, then there is some wisdom. So in our democracy, there can never be statements such as people should stop making noise. No. I could give you several other examples. It is out of the complaints of people. Even the Magna Carta, the famous Magna Carta, how did it come about? So you always find that it is when citizens make noise. Sometimes it will look like, that is not the law. Do you know the law? Why don't you go and talk to a lawyer? No, that's not what we are talking about. Justice emanates from the people. So sometimes you can have a clear law, but where it doesn't sit well with the citizens, out of the noise the citizens make, you are able to fashion a new law. So this one, it's good.
Martin, give me a quick comment on the revelation that actually Aisha One was prosecuted on 995. Yes, that's fine. You certainly have to prosecute under 995 because Article 19 clause 11 says that you can't prosecute somebody when there is no written law, when it is not a crime. Okay, so I'm just paraphrasing. So under 19 clause 11, you can only prosecute somebody when there is a written law criminalizing a certain conduct. So if at the time they were prosecuting Aisha One, the Act 900 had been repealed, you cannot go and use the dead law. Or there are a number of cases. I think there is Banda versus the Republic. It didn't even start today. There are several other cases. But I guess the real question is, if it's 995, then why not 20 years minimum and 25 years maximum?
So that is excellent. That's your $1 million question that the AG is going to test. We are all learning. It's good. Let's wait and see what will come out of the appeal. And you never know. Even if the appeal doesn't succeed, as I said, the value is in the noise. We must always encourage the noise. So we also want to tell the Attorney General that part where he said the citizens shouldn't make noise, no. Next time, he shouldn't write that. Look, we've benefited from a lot of noise. It's in the noise. The noise kind of nudge people in authority. You see, it kind of juggles people. Then you rouse from your, stupor. Like the way Socrates calls himself a gadfly. The gadfly makes noise. You see, the gadfly, when it bites you, then you rise from your stupor from that kind of thing. So noise is useful, very, very useful.
And Ken, what's your reaction to what we just learned there? I mean, the same question. 995 was used, so why not minimum? You raised a point yesterday. Why not minimum 20? Ken Ashigbe, if you may. Hello, Ken. Do we have Ken Ashigbe on? Okay, I doubt if we do. But also on the second subject of Akonta mining, Martin, this is something that you've been pursuing. Yeah. You just heard the Attorney General explain to us that he doesn't know about that case. Although yesterday we heard from the Forestry Commission that the case was sent to the Attorney General's office. In fact, I've just received clarity. You were on the show on PM Express yesterday when the Deputy Attorney General says he will check and return with feedback on whether they have that case or not. He has sent me the update. He says they do not have the docket, and the docket has not been submitted to the office of the AG, and that the police say they are not done with investigations. So that's the update there, Martin, on Akonta mining.
Evan, the first part of the Attorney General saying that he doesn't know about Akonta mining. Once again, you see, Attorney General, he should realize that, look, we are 32 million people. Some of these statements don't bode well for our governance.
He was speaking with specific reference to if he had been submitted to his office.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's what he said.
No, that's not what he said. So what exactly
the issue about what the Forestry Commissioner had said that the docket was what he was talking about.
So Martin, that's what he was saying, that if the docket, as far as the docket is concerned, he can't say if they've seen it.
Good.
And the deputy confirmed. And the deputy confirmed that they don't have it.
My point is so substantially the same, which is that, listen, looking at the damage that Akonta mining has caused us as an AG, as a citizen, he should have been even in the forefront of the fight to prosecute Akonta mining. Everybody knows that Chairman Wood, to me, is quite a popular figure, right? And he's done so much damage. So it doesn't, I mean, to even say that I'm not aware of the docket, to be honest with you, it even sounds in dereliction of duty. This is the same AG who a couple of months ago, somebody was sentenced wrongfully. He heard it, and the AG, I don't remember the last time the Attorney General went to court to rather fight for the accused. He took action. So this Akonta mining thing, maybe a better answer would have been that, oh yes, he's heard it, he's also interested, so he's looking into it. Better. But he says now where it doesn't sound, it just shows that he's running away. Sometimes see, the answers have to be tailored, knowing that citizens are very critical. You live in this same society. With all the noise we've been making, I expected him to be in the forefront fight. And so the police to this thing that they've not finished investigation. Evans, I didn't hear that side well. Can you repeat?
Yeah,
Who
so
says they haven't
the Deputy
finished?
Attorney General,
Madam Ando Kofi,
the Deputy Attorney General, and he assured us on national television. You were on the show.
Sorry?
I'm saying the Deputy Attorney General.
The line is a bit scratchy.
Well,
Evans, can you hear me?
I can loud and clear.
Who said they've not finished?
Yes, it says the police say they are not done with investigations, and that's why it's still with the police.
Okay, my response, and thank you, we have Engineer Ashigbe.
Are you not worried that in a situation where the Minister for Land and Natural Resources, the Minerals Commission, the regulatory body for this, the police themselves, they went in there to separate the people of Samal Boy from Akonta mining when they had entered in there? Are you not surprised that there is photo evidence, video evidence of what has happened? And we are being told today that the police has not finished the investigation. And the Attorney General is also not worried. Because you see, the Attorney General, when we wrote to him about Akonta mining, he told us that he was not responsible for primary investigation and had directed us to the police. So he should know that he had directed us to the police how long ago, and nothing was happening about it. And especially when one of these people is such a politically exposed person, and we as a country, we are at this trajectory where we are almost, getting into extinction. And the Attorney General should be more angrier, at this situation. And the IGP should be angry with, the Director General of CID. When we went to go and, when we wrote and they invited us, she did not even meet us. She got her staff to meet us. When we had written to them, complaining with a complaint that had been referred to her, So I think that, the way this issue is being handled really leaves a lot to so if we really want deterrence, we should be showing that when people do wrong, it does not matter whose ass is God. We will deal with the situation. So for me, I think the Attorney General, in as much as I am happy that he's going on appeal, he should ensure that he's applying the hot stove principle. So no matter who it bans, we should be dealing with it. They are leaving the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources exposed. They are leaving the CEO for the Minerals Commission exposed. And they are making it so visible that because it is one of their own, they don't want to deal with the situation. And it's the same if you take the issue of heritage in Pia as well. I remember being on a program with you, and I pointed out to the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources about the fact that heritage in Pia, as part of their court documents, when they had brought a case against Erastus, had indicated that they are mining operations. When we, as the Media Coalition, had written to the EPA, and the EPA had told us that they are not giving them the permits that they needed for a mining operation. And so, I don't know what other evidence they require to be able to bring people like this also to book.
On the substantive matter of Aisha One, you say you're happy with the decision to appeal?
Well, definitely, for me, I think it's revealing, and I think, it makes sense that definitely the prosecution would have to be done under an act that was still applicable at the time. So it would be 995. And so again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just an MA law student, so I would not attempt to say I understand the law. But I think if I wear my logical hat as an engineer, I'm wondering why it is that you prosecute under one particular law and then go and use another law that has been replaced to do the sanctioning. But again, I want to drop my heart out to this particular judge. A lot of judges would have given Aisha One bail when she applied for it. And this judge has really been consistent about it. But I think I agree with Martin and I agree with the Attorney General. We should go, as far as the Supreme Court and test this particular one. Two things. One, because it will help us improve our law. And two, because of the public interest in this particular case. It is a matter of fact that one of the reasons why the media left the fight against Galamsey was when the Attorney General filed a nollie prosequa, and then the senior minister then came and gave us that explanation or so, that reasoning, that this woman that is now a criminal in our court, and she has been sentenced, and the Chinese have not left this country. The senior minister then came to give us that story about whatever it is. And I am really happy about this, that whatever it is that she's done. But I think that it would be good for us to test this, and I would be more than happy if this woman is given 25 years in jail, and she's fined in such a way that deporting and all of that, the money that can be gotten from there, we can begin to use that to try and restore that particular place.
Thank you, Ken Ashigbe. Thank you, Martin Kwebu there. And just yesterday, as you may have heard on the dialogue, the national dialogue, the Joy News national dialogue on illegal mining, on the subject of Akunta mining, as we know, affiliated with the MPP Ashanti Regional Chairman, Njubo Isiako, the Minerals Commission CEO was emphatic that they were engaged in illegal mining, that they don't have a license for. Listen to him.
Okay, so we still stand by that. It's not backpassing. I don't deal with forestry issue. So as to whether an activity is being conducted illegally in now I'm told 36 forest reserves or not, it is the Forestry Commission that may be able to help. That is it. Because you see, when you are conducting a mining operation, you need all kinds of permits, authorization, the license, the forestry permit, and other ones. So on our side, we issued a statement based on whether or not those permits relating to Mincom have been obtained. I'm saying no. So I don't enter the forest. Where our inspectors go are areas that are properly lawful. So for example, Chirano, Ghana Bauxite, New Montachim, these are areas that are being permitted for large-scale mining. So the inspectors go there to check whether or not activities are being conducted there. So that's all that I can say on that.
So that's Martin Kweku, you see, is the Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission, confirming that Akunta Mining did not have the permit. They have not given them license to go ahead and mine in the forest where they were found actually mining. So that was illegal mining. And then, of course, the director of the Forestry Commission, who was also on the panel, confirmed that indeed, yes, they actually did a report and were told that the docket had been sent to the AG's department.
To the best of my knowledge, I think a report was made about an illegal mining in the Nimri Forest Reserve by our district manager at Enchi. Later follow-ups to the police station were informed that the case has been, the docket has been sent to Accra, and they're going to seek advice from the Attorney General's department. And so far, we haven't had any feedback.
And you heard the Attorney General a short while ago on Top Story say they do not have the docket. In fact, he says he's not aware of the docket. And more emphatically, yesterday the Deputy Attorney General was on PM Express and promised that he was going to check and get back to us on whether or not they have seen that docket, and the docket is with the Attorney General's department. He indeed kept his word, and he sent us an update. He says the docket has not been submitted to the Attorney General's office, and the police say they are not done with investigations. And we've had Martin Kbebu and Ken Ashigbe say that is simply not good enough. As you know, we are back on this campaign, the war on Galamsey Reloaded, here on Joy News in partnership with WaterAid and other partners, including the Ghana Chamber of Mines. Newsnight now, still ahead.
Efutu MP and Deputy Majority Leader refutes claims a forest in his constituency has been sold for the mining of lithium.
I am reliably informed that the Minerals Commission Chief Executive in a national dialogue has had cause to again reiterate that which is being put out there by the NDC in Efutu is untrue, unfounded.
We have details as the resident insists the granting of lease and concession to the Green Metal Resources Limited to mine in the globally protected and recognized Winneba Pomasi Ramsey site will not be countenanced.
It is our cultural heritage, part of our spiritual being, and we vehemently protest any person or group of persons who attempt to desecrate the sanctity of this sacred forest.
We'll get to hear from former Lands and Natural Resources Minister, who is charging residents to take up the fight and protect the land against illegal mining.
Escalate the fight, make it civil. Community level, there are many good people more than the bad people. Get them to defend their lands. Government has failed. Let's defend our lands.
We have more in our renewed fight against the canker. Also tonight, we share the story of a school facing significant challenges, Noka MA Basic School, and the unwavering dedication of a teacher, Eunice Asiedwe Japong, who is posted to the school with no students.
When I met the town folks, I asked, I'm coming to Noka, and they told me the school is not yet completed.
We have details plus tonight the real story behind the removal of a circuit court judge, Alfred Kwabnesi, from the Judicial Service for inappropriate conduct in a divorce case he presided over, plus the UN's Under Secretary General for Peacekeeping, Jean-Pierre Lacroix, touts Ghana's continual shining example in its contribution of troops for peacekeeping over the years and be mindful of gender inclusivity. That and more here on Newsnight. Do also join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp 055-1111-997. Details after this break.
Of late, things no easy, crowd. For my business inside, pressure day from customers. If I make payments, give suppliers, Okada riders, delivery charges, no easy. Things they move fast like before because everything make expensive. The family where they house. See what they talk. Family where they call, they ask for another money. No easy. Vodafone Cash be the only thing where they make my ID get to. If I do transfers for Vodafone Cash, it save me money. If you do Vodafone Cash to Vodafone Cash transactions, still no transfer charges dey. Even if I send money to another network, I get value.
Make you dial *110# to send money. Sending money from Vodafone Cash to Vodafone Cash still be free.
Vodafone. Ready? Let's go. We all go bring some savannah.
Everyone is dancing, everyone is singing, because everyone is painting with Savannah. Savannah paints from Azar are affordable enough for everybody to fulfill their paint needs. Paint more, pay less. Savannah paint, we all go paint some.
We all go paint some Savannah. We all go paint some.
It is your time to vote for your assembly members and unit committee members. So get involved and vote. It's a civic duty required of you as a Ghanaian. So get involved
message from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
It is your time to vote for your assembly members and unit committee members. So get involved and vote.
A message from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
Thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. Let's get update on this controversial LI we've been talking about for some time now. When will it be laid, amongst others? Today, the Ghana Union of Traders Association and allied groups say it will be better to totally ban the importation of the restricted goods than seek to limit its importation. Well, these bodies are strenuously opposed to the LI, which has still not been laid in Parliament yet. According to President of GUTA, Joseph Obeng, the justification put out by the government for the proposed law makes no sense. He spoke to journalists after a meeting with the subsidiary Legislation Committee of Parliament.
It's very important that any country becomes self-sufficient. But the way to go had been the problem. And especially when we have also been there in the issuance of permits that did not result in any gains for the nation. And that's why we wanted to remind them that that's surely not the way to go, and that we can adopt different methodologies to enhance on local production. You know, the cement is thriving. Other industries are thriving, not necessarily that they brought permits. But you also know that there are some products that, as I'm speaking, there's permit issuance, but it's not thriving. So the way to go is not restricting us. We have even made it clear that we will be better off that they ban the product rather than to bring restrictions and impediments on our way of trading in this era of trade liberalization. We cannot do that. We will not accept anything that will impede on trade facilitation, that hinders on cost of doing business, time of doing business, and ease of doing business. And that's exactly what we've told the committee, that they should hold on with this LI, and that will support government in its quest to increase productivity so that we will patronize same. That's essentially what we need as a country. But if we do not have the produce, or our produce is even overpriced, that it cannot be sold to the rest of our neighboring countries, then we have a problem. That's what we have to look at to solve the main problem at hand, rather than putting the restriction ahead. It seems that we can even achieve our aims by doing the right thing, putting the right measures in place.
Well, let's bring in Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante. Kweku, and there was a response from the committee. What was it? I was asking about the response from the subsidiary Legislation Committee on the concerns raised by GUTA.
Well, this was a 5-hour-long meeting. It started around 10 a.m. at the committee rooms in Parliament and lasted till about 3:40 p.m., almost 6 hours, with MPs sitting with all those who matter in the Ghana trading enclave. And they were strong in their opposition. Remember, they've sent petitions to Parliament asking them to reject this LI. But it's a numbers game. Can Parliament marshal 2/3 of votes to annul this CI? Well, according to Chairman of the committee, given the Speaker's ruling that no one can stop the laying of the CI unless Parliament can come up with 2/3 majority of MPs to reject this, his understanding is that this CI, this LI, I should say, will be laid either by the end of this week or early next week. But at the committee today, you could sense real bipartisan support for the position of GUTA and its members, asking in fact, one MPP MP asking that KTM actually withdraws this LI, do further consultation before bringing it back. But if you listen to Chairman of the committee, Dr. Dominic Ayede, this LI is said to be laid this week or next week?
Stakeholders on the proposed LI on the restriction of importation of certain selected goods, has just concluded, and it was very fruitful in the sense that we heard directly from the stakeholders with respect to some of the issues that they have, the concerns that they have regarding the impact of the regulatory instrument if it is passed, on their activities, as traders and importers. For us, they raise a number of issues that we will take into account when we are reporting to Parliament. One was that in terms of import substitution justification, there isn't sufficient local supply of the affected goods in order to fill the market if the restrictions take place. So, for instance, the question of how much we are producing in terms of rice, in terms of the auto industry, in terms of the used clothing industry, so that we ourselves will be able, to supply the local, industry will be supplied with this, these goods if the restrictions come into force.
How soon can we expect the report on the floor of the House?
Well, we are expecting that the minister will lay the instrument if it is revised in accordance with the recommendations of the committee, probably somewhere this week, okay, or early next week, meaning that eventually, if it is laid, we will be reporting to the House almost immediately, because we have done our consideration, of the pre-laying consideration, and we have an idea of what the substantive content of the instrument is, as well as the concerns of the stakeholders, regarding the impact of the instrument.
Well, so let's bring in Guta, and the President, Joseph Obing, joins us on the line. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight. So I'm wondering, the mood in particular of this particular meeting, I'm told it's 5 hours. What was the general acceptance of the proposal that you made to this committee, you'd say?
Please come again and speak a bit louder.
Can you hear me now, Ms. Obing?
Yeah.
Well, so I'm asking about the acceptance of the proposal that you put before the committee. What really was the consensus on it, you'd say?
Yeah, we have already sent petition to the Speaker of Parliament and copied to all the other bodies in Parliament, minority and majority, a trade committee on select committee on trade and all that, and that they called us today to come and justify why we are petitioning, and we made our point to the fact that we cannot simply abide by the LI because of the permit. We have been there before, and it didn't help us. If, as I'm speaking, there are some items that still work under the permit, and we do not see anything to show as a gain that we are getting from that permit. Well, we haven't gone through all the frustrations and then restrictions. We better be under a total ban rather than go under the permit to bring up bureaucracy, red tapeism, and all have you. Under trade liberalization scheme, we will not do that. If they want to go for a ban, they should ban.
But a total ban rather than a restriction is surprising that you take that position. Won't it affect your members in general?
Oh, but what is it that we are? What is the aim? The aim is to subsidize import. And then if you subsidize imports and you restrict, it means that we have to look within and get some of the items to buy. But when we look from within, most of the items, we cannot get them. So what are we doing in the first place? That's why we are saying that why should you give restrictions, whilst you are not bringing in measures to shore up local productivity so that we can fall on them. This is so simple. We are not saying anything, and that we've been under the permit regime so many times. And what have we to show? We don't have any good precedent in permits. We've done it just recently, even with poultry. They've been doing, they still do it, and poultry, we do not have anything to show. And we still have a shortfall of about 90%, a shortfall of whooping 90%. So it's something that we are doing it in emptiness. And then we made our case to the committee that we don't have any data to show. What are we holding? We don't have timelines. We don't have any measures to show. We don't have even the thresholds to indicate that if we have local capacity of 40% out of the total consumption, then it reaches the threshold. We do not have any threshold limit, be it 50%, be it 40, 60%. What are we doing? And we cannot do this exercise in emptiness. And it shouldn't be the waste of time of anybody. That once you are going to import something, then you have to go through this stress without achieving any results for the nation. Then what are we doing?
Well, we've been hearing from the committee chair mentioning that they will take the issues that you've raised seriously and report back to the House. It's something that we are monitoring closely, and we'll see how it goes. And we also told that the bill, if barring any challenges, it will be laid by the end of the week. We've been hearing this since it was first introduced, and we'll see how it goes by the end of the week.
It's going to be consumed by Christmas. I mean, because Christmas is just around the corner. And the hope was that you put it in there, the counting starts, and
21 days, then it doesn't
as
look
you've
like
seen, it may not happen. It's still live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM.
Well, let's do more illegal mining, since we've been talking about it before. We went on the break, and this time the Deputy Majority Leader and MP for Efutu, Alexander Afenyomakin, says it is untrue that a large swathe of forest in his constituency has been sold for lithium mining. The MP says the claims by the NDC in his constituency are wicked lies meant to court disaffection for him. We know that the forest is used for deer hunting during the annual Abuachi festival, and the residents insist the granting of lease and concession to the Green Metal Resources Limited to mine in the globally protected and recognized Winneba, that's the Pomasi Ramsey site, will not be countenanced in any form. James Kofianan led the protesters.
Submitted by the youth and people of Winneba to the Mayor's Commission through the Efutu Municipal Coordinating Director to register our disgust and protest against the granting of any form of license and or concession to Green Metal Resources Limited and or any other individual or company or group of companies for the purposes of mining in the globally recognized and protected Winneba Pomasi Ramsey site, which is also served as the Winneba Abuachi hunting grounds. We, the people of Winneba, by this demonstration and its attendant petition, are registering our disgust and protest against the granting of lease, permits, or any form of concession to the Green Metal Resources Limited or to any other company for the purposes of mining in or anywhere near the Winneba Abuachi grounds or any part of the globally protected and recognized Winneba Pomasi Ramsey site and any part of Muni Lagoon, which are shared between the people of Efutu and Gomoa traditional areas. There have been a number of attempts at carrying out mining activities in the Abuachi hunting grounds Ramsey site. In the year 2007, the Caribbean Atlantic Holding Ghana Limited applied to the Mayor's Commission for a mining concession in the areas under discussion. This was vehemently opposed by the people of Winneba. Again, in the year 2012, another company, Abutan Resources Limited, applied to engage in the same mining activities in the same protected areas. They too were vehemently opposed by the people of Winneba.
Well, today we've heard from the MP for the area, Alexander Afenyomakin, who has been speaking to journalists in Parliament. He explained that the Minerals Commission has conclusively refuted claims that the forest has not been sold to mining for mining purposes. Claims, he says, should be ignored.
NDC in my constituency has come out with a serious allegation to the effect that government officials, including my office sat on concern and got the sacred forest of Efutu where we go for deer hunting. The place has been sold for the mining of lithium. I simply want to say that this allegation is false, it's never true, and in fact the Minerals Commission 2 years ago issued a statement to the effect that such an application has not even been received by them, let alone approving for a company to mine lithium in that sacred forest where we hunt for deer during our Boatry festival. So I just want to set the record straight, put it on record, that there is no such thing. I would want, therefore, to urge my colleagues in the NDC to focus on the real challenges facing our people so that we engage on issues rather than polluting the minds of people, misinforming and lying. Such a practice does not help in democracy. So basically that's the point I want to make. This morning, I am reliably informed that the Minerals Commission Chief Executive in a national dialogue has had cause to again reiterate that that which is being put out there by the NDC in Efutu is untrue, unfounded, and he, as the Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission, hasn't signed any agreement, any lease agreement for the purposes of mining of lithium in that enclave where we hunt for deers.
Well, you heard the Deputy Majority Leader make reference to a national dialogue where the Minerals Commission boss spoke. It's actually the Joy News National Dialogue on Illegal Mining, just so the Deputy Majority Leader would know. But this is what Martin Aisi, the Minerals Commission CEO, said.
In the mining cadastre, which is available, practically the whole Ghana is in our system. Ramsar site, Muni Lagoon, whatever. So when you come, we normally have what we call restricted. There are restrictions on it. So we tell you can't have it. It is as simple as that. For example, I was just surprised this morning that people of Efutu are demonstrating about people going to mine in Yenku. And that's the problem I'm having with some of the journalists, like this Kakum thing. You don't find out. As far back as 2-3 years ago, we sent even a letter to Neni Gate and Assembly and everybody that there's nothing, there's no activity there. So a lot of misinformation also going on. And I'm saying that in my case, my doors are available. Just give us a call, check.
Okay.
And then just that's why this Kakum thing, some of us didn't like it. You see, that morning, for example, I had a letter inviting me to that seminar at Arocha. I didn't come for my regular metro Thursday. So I entered my office 11:30. Then my secretary says, boss, you are inviting you to this program. So, sorry, we cannot make it. It's late now. They started around 9 o'clock. They were able to trace us and send a letter to our office and send our numbers. They couldn't just call us to know whether or not there's an application for mineral rights in Kakum.
Well, so that's Martin Aisi there, the Minerals Commission boss. But that dialogue had a lot of talk. There were radical solutions, and we are going to publish all the action points so that we can track it and know where we are in terms of what we want to do and where we want to get to. But there's a wrap of the entire event.
The Forestry Commission for the first time admitted that over 30 forest reserves across the nation are currently being exploited by illegal miners. Hugh Brown represented the commission.
Out of our 288 forest reserves, 34 of them have issues with illegal mining, a number of them with excavators. I think since May, 2 more have come to join, so we are now around 36 forest reserves.
He says the commission is not equipped to deal with the armed miners who protect some of these mining sites.
Last year, November 1st, the military detachment was withdrawn. So, I mean, I'm the executive director of the Forest Services Division. It's my
but
tax.
Just so we know, on whose orders?
I wouldn't know.
The Forest Commission was not communicated to?
No, we're told they were undertaking some exercise to clean up the system because there were some lapses. And they are not back yet. We've been persistently asking for that support.
Mohammed Adam Suparu, the Member of Parliament for Sisala West constituency and a member of the Lands Committee in Parliament, stressed that acknowledging the country's failure is the first step towards solving this critical issue.
We have failed our people. We have failed as leaders. We must admit that we have failed. Then we start looking out for solutions.
Dr. Ken Ashigbe, the convener of the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, emphasized that the trial and error approach extensively used in illegal small-scale mining needs to become a thing of the past.
We need to now insist that small-scale mining would only happen in places that we've done the surveys in, and that the trial that we are doing would have to stop. We should insist that Parliament passes a law that places of global significant biodiversity areas should not be mined at.
Hugh Brown advocated for more lucrative alternative livelihoods to steer them away from illegal mining sites.
I believe going forward, we can strengthen law enforcement.
Dr. Frimpong Boatin suggested that the Ministry of Agric could initiate planting certain crops like sunflower and cabbages, which have the capability to absorb heavy metals.
It would be very dangerous to eat vegetables, especially salads, greens from mining areas because of the pollution. That is why we do what we call phytoremediation. And I think the Ministry of Agriculture should think about these things. We need to plant certain things that to absorb or take out the poison, the metals in the body. So we know that if you plant sunflower, it will absorb magnesium and chromium. Cabbage and broccoli will take care of lead, zinc, and cadmium. So also water lettuce, which will absorb cadmium, mercury, chromium, and copper.
But how do we end all of this once and for all? Professor Frimpong Boatin has an interesting answer.
So the radical solution is that big people, green journalists who are involved should stop. I wish maybe we could shoot them all up. I don't know.
Yeah, and at that point he was at his wit's end, really. And you asked him, is it true to kill? He says no. I mean, but that shows you how frustrating it is with a problem that we've been struggling to resolve. But Inusa Fuseni, who is a former Lands and Natural Resources Minister, had this suggestion for citizens.
We seem to be suggesting that this canker can be tolerated, but it cannot be tolerated. It cannot. You see, there's a growing movement in the world. What we've seen Erasmus do, that environmental crimes are crimes against humanity. You can't justify that on the basis of exploitation of minerals. You can't. So all of us must live here very clear in our minds. And 2 weeks ago, I was reading something about Fuji. They decided that they didn't want any mining and that they wanted sustainable. They said they didn't want mining. We must all live here knowing and accepting that, look, but we are moving towards extinction. This canker is attacking our very existence. It's attacking our economy. But the solution is there. Forestry Commission, you mean you have no local representatives in the various areas? You mean you can't collaborate with the district assemblies? You mean the chief executive doesn't show any interest in fighting illegal activities in the forest reserves? You mean if you report to the police, they won't take action? We know why they are not taking action, because some of your officers are complicit. So you don't report.
My plea to Dr. Ken Ashigbe and probably the lecturer at Lagos, escalate the fight, make it civil, community level. There are many good people more than the bad people. Get them to defend their lands. Government has failed. Let's defend our lands.
That's former Lands and Natural Resources Minister. Let's fight and defend our land. Fight and defend we will. Let's do business. And George Riafe is here with the very latest. Hello, George.
Hi, Emefa. How are you doing?
Good to see you, George.
Good to see you too. Well, coming up in business, government likely to issue new bonds to help recapitalize the Bank of Ghana. And Energy Ministry justifies signing of new contracts despite claims of excess capacity, insisting it is to deal with future demands. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntax Tanks and Pepsodent, Charcoal and Herbal.
Hey, Ma, the way you're always getting alerts these days, I won't be surprised to hear that you have gotten a Momo for Business account by my next visitor.
Oh, I'm already on Momo for Business.
Since when?
Since. Now, it's easy to apply for a merchant SIM. All you need is a registered MTN number, your business certificate, your Ghana card, and you are good to go.
Sir.
You think you are the only one who knows what's up, eh? Look, I just dialed *5051#, selected register, and the region I was requesting the SIM from, and waited for my SMS with my reference number. You can even go online at momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh and complete the details for an even better experience.
Hey, Grandma Momo.
Sign up for Momo for Business the easy and simple way. Just visit momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh or dial *5051# and follow the prompts and be on your way to owning a Momo business account today for free.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
No matter your water needs, Sintex has it all. Sintex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Sintex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Sintex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Sintex tank. Sintex tank, stress-free. Sintex tank, reliable. Sintex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit sintexgh.com. Sintex tank, a strong, a tough.
Conflicts continue to arise in our world, and it requires the right skill set to handle matters professionally, which is why the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, KAIPTC, offers a series of professional courses including conflict analysis and mediation, leadership and management in security organizations, and artificial intelligence in peace building. These courses are innovative, dynamic, interactive, and practical, tailored for professionals involved in peace building activities in Ghana and beyond. Apply now. Government officials, NGOs, civil society representatives, researchers and academics, practitioners in peace and conflict resolution, technologists and data analysts in the peace and security sector, defense sector actors. Course duration 11 to 15 December 2023. For further inquiries, visit www.kaiptc.org or the KAIPTC premises.
As the commander-in-chief in my house, I always ensure that I give my family the best. And this includes their television viewing. That's why we watch GoTV.
GoTV gives you all the local drama on Aquaba Magic.
And I watch my favorite cartoons on GoTV.
GoTV Super Plus in T, I get all the Premier League games, La Liga, Serie A, and Europa. This festive season, Yenya Gibraltar, dial *759# to reconnect today and be part of the excitement. GoTV, love it.
I'm a way! Yeah!
Media Sambisanda mo. Etiemratiano, Mumu Panet, Mufinamo Podompe, Mumana Yakono. Eh, Quabna. No, Mumu wants me to be just Mali, Marina there. And the crow, complete Mirinam Bodom, so you super excellent eba. I had a binding to Braye, who see it in a mobile, some man I want it. Sir, I now could you soon use super excellent Chaco, Nanny dear, and most when you could fit that. No, what you ask you, my mother feel you. Hey, Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Eba and a Pepsodent Chaco. A baby, you're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadian Katuyatu.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Keep buying your luckiest ticket with star 712 hash as an individual, a group, an association, or even a community, and stand a chance of winning in the community draw or the ultimate draw on 23rd of December. Be the luckiest on star 712 hash and win millions. Ticket sale starts on October 4th, 2023, and draw date is on 23rd December 2023. Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform. Win millions on star 712 hash.
The luckiest, you could be the luckiest.
Business on Newsnight. Now, government could be in the coming months issue new bonds as part of its contribution to help recapitalize the central bank. It is coming after the Bank of Ghana posted a record loss for last year due to the restructuring of some bonds that it was holding. The Bank of Ghana itself is taking some measures to help recapitalize the institution. But Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, says some help is needed from the Finance Ministry.
The principal factors that led to the negative equity position of the bank was the domestic debt exchange and the losses from impairments to holdings of government instruments, as well as some of the credit that had been extended to Cocoa Board. So if you add those two alone, you're looking at 54.5 billion or so of impairment. So that's where the problem came from. And obviously this has to be, done in consultation with the government and the Ministry of Finance. And the only way in which you can deal with negative equity position of that magnitude has to be dealt with through the budget, through the issue of recapitalization bonds. So this is an area that we will be looking at closely with the Ministry of Finance and come up with a plan to restore the capital of the central bank.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. The total number of debit cards issued by commercial banks in Ghana continue to reach record levels. New data from the Bank of Ghana puts a number ending December 2022 at 5.1 million cards. There is more in this report.
The Bank of Ghana data showed that since 2018, the numbers have been going up significantly. It was doing on the average more than 2% growth per year. Out of the more than 5 million cards that has been issued ending December 2022, more than half of them were international scheme cards. In terms of the value of transactions that were done on these cards, it went up by more than 300% to reach almost 200 billion Ghana cedis. Some have linked it to the earlier restrictions on movement of COVID-19 and moves by most financial institutions to discourage the visit of banking halls and make the use of debit and credit cards as the preferred option for financial transactions in the country.
And that is the Business Desk report. Now, the Energy Ministry is justifying the signing of new power contract despite claims of excess capacity. The current administration is reported to have signed new power deals in recent times after claiming that the country has enough power supply and criticized the former administration of waste of resources. But Deputy Minister of Energy, Andrews Mensah, says that these deals are needed for future demands.
We will sign new contracts, but when they come on board, when they impose obligations on you, it's relevant. No? And so if you sign a contract looking into your future projections that by 2027, 2028, I will need additional capacity, and so contract today so that it will come on stream by that time, I don't see why anybody should have any problems with it. An existing facility in country that has expired, that the facility doesn't belong to you. AXA plant is not ours. We contracted them to deliver power to us for a finite period, after which they were entitled to decommission and take their plants away. But you have a demand. going forward, you would have a demand. So can you negotiate down the tariffs? Can you reduce the take or pay 100% obligation and give them some minimum dispatch so that they can remain to augment your future? I don't see why anybody should have it.
Deputy Minister of Energy, Andrew Mensah. Now, players in the telecoms industry have raised concerns about delays in granting of license for installation of telecom towers and other infrastructure. They argue that this is affecting the delivery of voice and internet data services across the country. Speaking to Joy Business, Telecoms Chambers Forum on Infrastructure, Engineer Kenneth should be called on the Communications Authority to deploy technology to ease the process.
Currently, we're doing about 7 months. When an MNO says that give me a tower in this particular community, it takes up to 7 months. And by that time, most of you customers, the experiences you'll be having with your connectivity will not be the best. So one of the proposals, the ways to be able to do it, is to have a one-stop shop. So that instead of the tower companies going from office to office to take their permit applications to, we can have a portal that they put the application on. And once the application goes on that particular portal, NCA would see it, EPA would see it, the assemblies, you can imagine the number of assemblies we have.
Kanashikbe is Chief Executive of the Telecoms Chamber. Let's turn our attention to the stock market. If you're a shareholder in Enterprise Group, the value of its share that you're holding went down by 2% to close at 2 Ghana cedis 39 pesos. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Evans and
George, thank you very, very much. Let's do sports now. Ms. Bao is here with the latest.
Hello, Evans. Well, it's the Black Queens. They've made Ghana proud to seal qualification for next year's Women's African Cup of Nations tournament. The last time the Queens were in that competition was in 2018 when it was hosted here in Ghana. Well, following that convincing win on Friday 3-1 at the Krasport Stadium was enough, despite their loss to Namibia in South Africa today, for them to secure that qualification. After the game, head coach of the side, Nora Huptel, says now the focus is on possibly winning the tournament next year.
The performance today is closed because we qualified. Ghana's back on the WAFCON, and we are hungry and willing to play there, and I think a lot of players deserve it. They play some very long time for the Queens, some maybe for some it's the last WAFCON. We have some young players, for them it's the first time. So in general, we have a very young squad. Need to develop and work and continue our mission Volta. I'm proud of this year. We won out of 10 games, and I think we can have a nice Christmas.
Yeah, well, nice Christmas there, Nora Hoptel speaking of. But let's head to Manchester United now, because their coach, Eric Ten Hag, has come under heavy criticism with some media reports suggesting that at least 50% of the dressing room is against the coach's tactics. Well, today he faced the press ahead of the game against Chelsea tomorrow, and he was asked this very question, whether he indeed has the team under control. And that's what he had to say.
Of course, man, there are always in every team players who are not of less playing, they are less happy, but not different as normal. And such tensive fields you need that, and they have to they wait for the chance, and they can come. But no, there are no issues.
Well, he says there are no issues there. We're not sure. We'll see how they fare against Chelsea tomorrow. Whether the woes will be piled up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Well, that's it for sports, and it's brought to you by Pepsi and Herbal and Jaco.
Well, thank you very much. Now, spoiled batteries on hand, plywood on the floor, pupils on their knees, painting. That was a sight that greeted our news team at Noka MA Basic School in the Eastern Region. Beginning season 3 of our Schools of Shame series, we tell you the story of how Eunice Siedua Ejapon was transferred to teach in a non-existent school in Noka. Now, this is also a piece about how vehicular knockdowns have for years forced parents in Noka to prevent their children from going to school. Here's a story by Emmanuel Jibenu and Seram Ablan D'Souza.
For years, children trekked several kilometers to distant communities to access education. But in their quest to quench their thirst for knowledge, they get knocked down by speeding vehicles. As a result, many parents stop their children from going to school.
The school is very far. I get scared anytime I see pupils on the street when they are sacked for owing fees. Several children have been knocked down on the streets. The accidents on the streets are often fatal.
Coded flat, can't say,
The older folks are not spared from accidents on this road.
Meet Eunice Esiedua Ejapon, a trained teacher. In May 2023, she requested to be transferred to teach in the Eastern region. That was the only way to be close to home and take care of her aged parents. Eunice was excited when her request was approved, and she had been transferred to Noka MA Basic School. Her excitement soon fades when she discovered Noka Basic School does not exist.
I seek for assurance in Sawoma Doji Municipal, and I was given Noka Primary School. So it was Noka MA Primary School. That was what was on the letter. So I proceeded and I had the release. So this academic year, that is 2023-2024 academic year, that was when I was released. So right after I had to bring my document to the municipal. So when I got there, I had to pass by the school to see where the school is located and how the place is. But when I came, when I met the town folks, I asked, I'm coming to Noka, and they told me the school is not yet completed. So when they told me that, I was surprised.
I had the information that a teacher was posted to the school. So I quickly informed the chief and the people of the town so that we can organize our children to start with the school. And that is what we have done. That is why you can see pupils over here. Now we are not schooling in the school building. It's somebody's chapel that the president has offered us that we should be here until the room is completed.
This is the school Eunice has been posted to teach. An uncompleted 6-unit classroom block, a Get Fund emergency project.
The road over here is a major road in Samam Adesu to Cape Coast and Asamankese. So we thought it twice to establish the school so that those accidents will be avoided.
Sometimes when I sit and think about it, I wonder, because if there is no school, so why do you then post me? But sometimes I just conclude that it's the will of God. Maybe God knows why He sent me here. Because of the kids, maybe He knew I have to come around and start, so the rest will help me. So I'm just holding on to that. Sit, stand, hands up.
About 6 other teachers posted to Noka Basic School didn't return to the community after their first visit, but Eunice Esiedua Ejapon was determined to rise above the difficulties and make an impact in the lives of these young ones. Let the mission begin, knocking on one door to the other and inspiring dreams. She gathered the children. With the generosity of heart, Maranatha Power Ministry offered their structure.
It wasn't easy though, but I got help from the assemblyman and the pastor who gave us this temporary structure, that is Reverend Amwa. I had help from one man called Mensah. He was the first person when I came to the place. He told me the structure will be ready very soon, so don't worry. And a lot of your colleagues I've been around. They have come and checked the place, so don't worry. They will join you soon. And a lot of people are here, so you shouldn't worry at all. So those people, their words of encouragement, it brought positive vibes, and I decided that this thing I have to start.
Such a touching story indeed.
Yeah.
What will you do if you find yourself in that situation, Emefa?
I wouldn't think about this though. Maybe something else. But I had an Evans Mensah in there. Was it you?
Not sure actually.
But really, she's done well.
Yeah, she's done great.
well. Yeah.
Peps is here. Hello, Peps.
Hi,
Did
good
you see the
evening.
fight before you came on?
No.
Okay. We'll talk about that later. What's up?
This evening we are discussing innovative smart home tech for your living space. I believe that even as we are just getting into the festive season, there may be some things that people may look at buying, especially when it comes to smart home tech devices. So we'll get into more
You're the one that
details.
I'm looking forward to hearing about. The smart curtains.
Yes,
Because
we
for
can
me,
discuss.
I cannot sleep if the curtains aren't completely covering the windows. I can't sleep with any light peering through the room. So I need the curtains. So I always have to go and
Do it yourself,
So
yeah.
it'd be
So we'll
good
discuss
to just lie in bed and just
the
press
blinds
it
just
and then
present closest for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm listening.
All right.